I'm like, oh my god, girl, they like really like me now. Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. You already know what it is, so I'm so sorry that I have not given an update or uploaded a video in quite some time, but I've been pretty busy and I'll discuss that on another video. But first, today's video, what I want to talk about is my work for my volunteering for the Julián Castro 2020 campaign. Today I'm going to talk about how I got involved with the campaign and why you should get involved and why you should contribute to the campaign as well. So around summertime I started, paying a lot more attention to the election process. Of course, the leaders of the pack were, thrown around with Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders. So I was trying to figure out and trying to decide who I was going to support because I really wanted to get involved this election because I knew how important this election was. I knew how important the election was for the future of America, my future. I'm a young adult now on my own, so this election is more important than ever. So it was very important on who I decided to not only give my vote to, who I was going to contribute and, financially, volunteering, who I was going to jump behind because, I wanted to make sure that who I was getting behind and my work for them was not going to go in vain. As far as, picking the wrong candidate and not really aligning with my values. Of course, the leaders of the pack were an option. I just wasn't connecting with the candidates. And then I came across a name that I was somewhat familiar with, and that was Julián Castro. And the reason why I was familiar with him is because I remember in the 2012 Democratic National Convention, I watched his speech. From my house in Louisiana, and I said to myself, oh, he's gonna go far, he's gonna be the next rising star of the Democratic Party. And here we are today. Started aligning myself with Julián pretty early on. I was telling my friends about him, like, oh my god, have you guys heard about Julián Castro? Here I saw this candidate, giving their all, giving their platform to really important issues that matter to me, like Black Lives Matter, people with disabilities, I am disabled, trans rights, and he was very outspoken about these issues and often the very first one to speak about these issues, and more often than not, really leading the candidates and making these topics a part of their platforms. Girl, he was leading the pack, right? Let's just say what it is. After the first debate, I was like, forget this, I really need to stop playing it off my butt and volunteer for the campaign. I was just so excited. When I envisioned myself volunteering, I thought it'd be, knocking on doors, this, that, and the third, but living in California, I realized that unfortunately we're pretty late in the primary process. They didn't really have a field office out here knocking on doors because, they weren't really, not that they weren't pressed for California, but they had other things to tend to, like Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. So those had the field offices where they were knocking on doors, getting petitions signed, this, that, and the third. But I did join their virtual field office, and that operates through Slack. And you can sign up for that on julianforthefuture.com. And then I was like, wait a minute, Bert, you do photography, you do digital media, you make YouTube videos, you do graphic design on the side, why don't you offer that? Because I felt like that I could totally offer my creative services to him, and so that way I get to be creative and it's impactful. I made it my mission to reach out. I don't know who I was reaching out to. Hey, girl, I got all these services that I can offer. How do I help? How do I help? And next time Julián is in California, I would love to be connected. Honestly, I threw it out there, not really thinking that they would take it because, oh, here's this little kid from California. We'll see. So I put all that out in the chat, and literally a week later, I was shooting with Julián. And so the whole thing, how that even happened, it was just so quick. There was Julián is actually gonna be in Los Angeles, in a couple of days. Do you want to shoot for him then? And I was like, girl, yes, of course. Girl, yeah, I'll do whatever I gotta do. They told me the actual details about, the event. Here I am thinking he's gonna do some campaign event in Santa Monica, or you know what I'm saying, maybe we'll do something in Hollywood, or hell, even Long Beach, sure, I could do that. Girl, no. So he was in Delano, California. If you're aware, it's 2 hours north of Los Angeles, and it was on a Friday. They were yeah, if you can get there, we would love to have you. So currently I don't have a car, but more on that in another video. So I was yeah, I'll do it. So I'm sitting here scrambling. Mind you, I have a day job, so but it was really important that I was there and I was able to document it, and I was able to, like I said, volunteer and offer my services to the campaign. So I made it happen. I did. I woke up super early, got on the road by 6, and made it to Delano just in time. So yeah, I was able to take pictures and document Julián's stop at the 40 Acres compound. He had just released a plan on farm workers' rights. So it was very important that, you know, he made that stop there to not only learn about Cesar Chavez, but also talk about the Delano, California residents, you know, who are really impacted by policies that deal with farm work. You know, Julián made sure that he made time to speak with everyone there. A really great and enjoyable experience. And yeah, I was able to meet Julián, and you know, I thanked him for allowing me to photograph him and allowing me to volunteer with his campaign, you know. And then I thought that was that, and I was like, okay, yeah, you know, I contributed, I did what I gotta do. The campaign posted my photos. It was a really great experience. Fast forward a month later, and the national political director, Natalie, reaches out to me, and she was like, hey, we're gonna be in Los Angeles again. Do you wanna shoot? And so I was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna like do whatever I gotta do. So I'm like, oh my God, girl, they like really like me now. To be honest with you, I was so anxious the night before that I barely got any sleep. I was with him essentially all day. We had 3 stops in Los Angeles. The first stop was at a Black Lives Matter protest in downtown Los Angeles in front of the LAPD headquarters, and they were protesting the shooting of Grishario Mack. Julián made it a priority to make sure that he was there for that protest. I thought it was really great that he, you know, brought his platform to allow that organization, allow that family to get more press and get more coverage for that tragic story. And the organizer, you know, made it known that every time he comes to Los Angeles, he reaches out to Black Lives Matter LA to make sure that he's there and to make sure that he can help in any way. So it was a really beautiful event, and I'm just so proud that Secretary Castro lended his time to speak. So I went to the final event, and he was speaking with veterans at the Roosevelt Hotel, and these were veterans that benefited off of the programs that he put in place for homeless veterans when he was the HUD secretary. They were able to thank him in person. He listened to every one of their stories and, you know, their plight, and really great way to end off the day. Said bye to Secretary Castro once again. I again told him thank you so much for allowing me to document him, and I thanked his whole team, Natalie, Sawyer. They whisked off in their motorcade. No, actually I did think about something. I actually took an Uber pool. Funny anecdote, I was working for like one of the most like liberal candidates there is, and I hop in an Uber pool full of conservatives. They're like talking about Trump, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyway, I just thought that was really funny and ironic. I'm just very glad and very grateful that he allowed me to be on the campaign, allowed me to shoot him and document him. It really means a lot to me. You know, as a Black creative, sometimes our work isn't sought out. They reached out to me, and I thank them so much that they considered me and that they like my work and that they keep on inviting me. So hopefully I get invited again. I think this is like the first time that I was able to really use my creative services for something that's really meaningful to me, and to see my work displayed like that, you know, even if it's just on Instagram, but you know, this is like an important campaign, it's an important candidate to me. I felt really great and blessed to be able to do that. So thank you, Secretary Castro and Secretary Castro's team, for allowing that. Now that you've heard my experience shooting with Secretary Castro, this is why you should definitely join Team Julián and maybe contribute financially, or maybe even join the online field office. Listen, we can talk all day about why this candidate isn't, you know, my favorite, or why that candidate isn't my favorite, but what I will say is something that is important to me is that we, as Democrats, I feel like we don't need to pander to other bases. You know, I think the way to win the election is to speak to your base, get your base excited, get your base ready and organized. You know, there are a lot of different, you know, media outlets and pundits that say, oh, we need to think about winning the election, and you know, this is the way to win. We gotta, you know, vote more moderately. But I don't think that's necessarily the way to go. If you think about the way that Trump was able to win the election, I mean, there's different things that play, but a really big factor that played is that he spoke to his really ignorant base, and he got them riled up and excited to vote. It'll be very foolish of us to think that we can win this election without exciting our base. So if you pick a candidate that isn't going to speak to black and brown people, if you pick a candidate that isn't going to speak to queer people, if you pick a candidate that isn't going to speak out to the marginalized, you know, we need to get those people excited to vote. We need to get those people out. That's why I'm so excited about Julián, because Julián speaks about these issues that matter to those communities that I just spoke about. He constantly brings issues that are plaguing those communities to his platform, speaking out against them, bringing them to the national stage on candidates who feel like they may be too controversial. I definitely do not want another, 4 years of Trump, but at the same time, I don't think we have to settle. I don't think that we should settle. We need to kick it into gear. So yes, that is why I support Julián, and I think that's why you should also support him too. If you're very unfamiliar with him, you can of course check out all his policies on his website. I will link all of that below, and please consider donating. So Julián has the largest amount of small grassroots donations of all the campaigns. Even if it's just $5, his campaign is completely grassroots, so those $5 definitely will go somewhere, will definitely help. He pays all his interns a living wage. Listen, everything that man is talking about, I support 100%. So whenever I can give, I do give. And on top of giving financially, I'm able to give my creative services, which I think is even more valuable. So listen, if finances is something that you can't offer, go join his virtual field office and join the texting team. Figure out what you can offer and what you can bring to the campaign, because again, this campaign is very important. This election is very important. And so even if you don't join Julián's campaign, people should definitely be engaged in this election process. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know who you're voting for in the 2020 election, who you have your eyes on, who you're wary about. What do you really think about Julián? Why don't you want to support Julián? Talk to me. Let's discuss. Let's hash this out. Let's hash this out. But yes, please be engaged. Please be engaged in this election. It is very important, and there is a candidate out there for everyone. And again, thank you so much for watching. Bye.